So we're harvesting our first round of lettuce this week for the culinary program, and fortunately our lettuce has done quite well. It's a little bit bigger than we expected, and today's what, October 5th or 6th, and our plan was to harvest this in November, but because of all the great weather this fall, our lettuce has just been thriving. So what we're going to do is we're going to harvest, they just need 10 heads, so what I'm going to do is harvest every other head. And this is a variety of lettuce from Johnny's called Salanova. It's the green incised, and these heads of lettuce are designed to grow as a full head of lettuce, where you can just cut the whole head, and also you can use these as your cut lettuce mix, which makes a really beautiful mix. What you would do with these to make your cut lettuce is just take the bottom. We're not going to do it to this one, but you would just cut the core all the way through. And the great thing about this variety is most varieties of lettuce have big leaves on the outside and get progressively smaller as you go to the center. But these leaves are all about the same size. They all stay fairly small. And when you cut them up in a cut mix, it's just beautiful. You have, lofty varieties like this one, and then you have the smaller round varieties like this, so it makes a good contrast of colors and shapes and different sizes of lettuce in your mix. So we're going to harvest every other one of these because next week we're going to harvest a few more, and then when we get all of the lettuce out of here, we still have time to grow a mixed greens, our mesclun mix, which is all kinds of very rapidly growing brassicas, mostly like kale, mustards, lots of different types of mustards, and arugula, tatsois, and komatsunas, and mizunas, all kinds of different greens. You can see too that, the bottom of the lettuce, you always have to take a few of the oldest leaves off, the parts that touch the soil, they get wet. But these lettuce are in pretty good shape. We've been able to control the conditions. We water it when they need it, not too much water, not too little. So they're doing quite well.
When you're harvesting, it's important to harvest quickly and efficiently. Keep all of your produce out of the sun and get it into a cold area quickly. We use a process called hydrocooling, where we dip all of our vegetables in very cold water before we put them into a cooler or on ice. It's also very important to use a sharp, clean knife, very clean hands, and a clean harvest box. It's important to remember in winter high tunnel growing that even the most experienced growers take a break in the coldest months like January and February. Perhaps you might want to get some of your crops like carrots or some of your other roots out maybe in December. This December we harvested some of our carrots and beets, and we used many of those crops, or both of those crops, until mid-April for some dinners and events. It's also important, if you're going to store crops for a long period of time, it's important that you don't use crops that have been damaged, possibly by rodents, anything biting them, or damage from a digging fork, or just breaking it from the harvesting process. If you'd also like to keep some root crops for a very long time, the best thing to do is just keep the soil on them. Put them in a container in your cooler and just keep the soil on them, and they'll last for a long time. You can see behind my left shoulder is a white PVC pipe coming out of the raised bed. The pipe is used to hold up rime, or row cover, which provides a double layer of insulation for the crops in the wintertime. Your first layer is the high tunnel plastic. The second layer is that rime that's held above the crops with that PVC pipe.